So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we are going to be talking about Richtofen and how he evolved from Eddie as a child in our old zombie story to the older version we see now in Cold War Zombies. The initial question I got for this video, the inspiration came from Sanad7754 where he said, can you talk about Dimension 2210, which is rarely mentioned? So I was going to do a quick video talking about that, but actually I wanted to expand this and make a full video about Eddie, from the first time we heard about him as a child to where he is now as a full-grown adult. So the story of Dimension 2210, as this comment says, is rarely spoken about. It is a dimension in our zombie storyline that is only brought up just a handful of times. Yet it's an important one. Without this, Cold War Zombies probably doesn't exist. How many dimensions there are in our zombie storyline, we don't know the exact amount, but considering 2,210 is the largest number we've heard of, there may be more, there more than likely are, but that means there are at least 2,200 plus dimensions within our zombie storyline. We've heard of Dimension 63, Dimension 2210, and within each one of these different universes are different versions of our characters, whether it be Primus, Ultimus, etc. There are thousands of different versions of Nikolai, Takeo, Dempsey, and Richtofen. We've already seen quite a few different versions of Richtofen at this point. I mean, in Blood of the Dead alone, we see 3 different Richtofens, Primus, another version of Primus, and then Great War Richtofen. We also have Ultimus Richtofen, Zombie Richtofen, other versions of his Primus self, Eddie, you get the point. There are thousands of Richtofens, we've only seen a handful, and I would say most of them are evil, selfish, narcissistic. But the story of Dimension 2210's version of Richtofen is slightly different. He apparently was an innocent Richtofen, one that knew no evil, a good version. We were never really told too much about Richtofen's upbringing, his past, what his childhood was like, other than the fact that we know that his parents died when he was young, back in the year 1898. That's about all we know of Richtofen's childhood, but pretty much every version that we've seen of him as an adult has grown up to be somewhat evil. Yes, the Primus version of him is less evil than the Ultimus version, but still then, deep down, he's still got that within him. But like I was saying, Dimension 2210's version of him wasn't like this. As a part of the zombie cycle, we know a part of the storyline consisted of our characters killing versions of themselves to collect their own souls, and then sending those souls to Dr. Monty, where he would turn them into children in his house in Argotha. That's what took place as a part of our zombie cycle. So in Draka we witnessed Dempsey kill himself and collect his soul inside of the summoning key. In Zetsubo we witnessed Takeo kill himself, where his soul was collected inside of the summoning key. Garrett Karuva, the exact same thing with Nikolai. He killed himself and then collected his soul in that bat. But the one character that we never witnessed collect his own soul was Richtofen. He pretended to do it in the Giant when he stepped out of the teleporter, shot himself in the head, and then leant down over his dead body. Everybody thought that was the point when Richtofen was collecting his own soul, but that wasn't the case. He collected his soul way before that, when he was on his own, when he travelled to Dimension 2210, where unlike the other characters having to kill adult versions of themselves, Richtofen killed an innocent child version of himself. Although we never actually got to witness this happen, Richtofen has spoken about it.
Wouldn't you like to hear a little story? A story you've never heard? A sad story?
Oh man, why do you always have to be such a Debbie Downer?
Let him speak.
It's the story of Dimension 2210. The story of my soul. By the way, you're nodding, Nikolai. I can only assume the chronorium already showed you the whole sorry tale. Well, for the benefit of the peanut gallery, I was just a boy then. An innocent. I was a sensitive child. A lonely child. Orphaned at a young age. I never got to know who I really was. But one day, I learned who I would grow up to be.
What do you speak of, Richtofen?
I had to do it. The chronorium told me. I had to trick the poor little innocent me into trusting a complete stranger.
Jeez, Richtofen. I don't think I like where this is going.
Me neither, Dempsey. But that's the sad truth of it all. I took mine own soul. Before it could ever have the chance to flourish. Is it any wonder and the way I am.
So Richtofen tells us what happened in Dimension 2210. The version of his soul that he killed and collected was from when he was an innocent child, from just after his parents died and he became an orphan. He was a sensitive and lonely child, and needing to collect a soul, Richtofen tricked his child self into trusting him, and then, we can assume, killed him. We don't know how, shot him probably, but just like the other characters, he then collected his soul inside of the summoning key and then sent it to Dr. Monty's house. But this wasn't the only time we heard of Richtofen and Dimension 2210. Nikolai also spoke about that event to Dempsey, since Nikolai read the Canorium, and the Canorium tells you everything to do with your past and future. The Canorium told Nikolai about what Richtofen had to do to his child self.
I have seen Richtofen's many shades of madness firsthand. You have witnessed likewise, Dempsey.
Only madness I've seen in the dock is the pure damn evil kind. Frankly, if he's still standing at the end of this, I'm gonna be pissed.
Richtofen has already made bigger sacrifices than you realize, Dempsey. Much bigger.
Whatever he sacrificed, it wasn't enough. He should be burning in hell.
If you really want to see pain in Richtofen's eyes, ask him about Dimension 2210. We both know Richtofen, you know, is evil. But do you think he can ever be redeemed?
Redemption is not for me to decide. Only he can choose his path. What of your Richtofen? Do you believe he can ever be redeemed?
I take no pleasure in knowing that he may have already redeemed himself in ways few of us will ever understand. I never before imagined feeling pity for Richtofen, but it is something I can no longer deny.
Pity? For Richtofen? I will believe it when I see it, with my own eyes.
And Richtofen's also had other conversations with our characters about it.
Yeah, about that whole soul hole. How come I don't feel any different without it?
What it feels like to have lost your soul, especially at a young age, is a tragedy I do not particularly want to recount.
What of your soul, Richtofen? Did you ever even have one?
We shouldn't argue, Nikolai, but just so you know, I definitely had a soul. A really good one. I was such a good little boy.
So you can see whenever Dimension 2210 is brought up and when it's spoken about what Richtofen had to do to his child self, the subject is very sensitive. The way Richtofen speaks about it, about him taking his own soul, you can tell he didn't want to do it. It was traumatizing for him having to kill a child version of himself. The way Nikolai talks about it, because he knows exactly what Richtofen had to do. Even when Dempsey and Takio aren't taking it seriously and making jokes, Nikolai says to them, "Luke, Richtofen has been through some real emotional stuff. Go easy on him." The point being, unlike when Nikolai, Dempsey and Takio had to take their souls, yes, that was sad, but those were adult versions of themselves that they killed, whereas Richtofen, he killed a child version of himself, a version that was innocent, that was good. And so when that soul arrived at Dr. Monty's house and he became Eddie, this boy we see right here, this is an innocent version of Richtofen, a boy that had lost his parents, became an orphan, and didn't get to grow up, didn't get to find out who he truly was. So that was what happened in Dimension 2210, but at the end of Tag the Totem, which was a part of the Broken Cycle, just in case some of you aren't aware, as a part of the Broken Cycle, the child versions of Nikolai, Takio and Dempsey don't exist at this point. Since Gored Korovian revelations don't happen, that means their souls don't arrive at the house, meaning only Samantha and Eddie are children in the house because their souls arrived way earlier. Samantha came here back in Origins and Eddie not long after. So at the end of Black Ops 4, it's only Samantha and Eddie that exist, and we see in the Tag the Totem ending cutscene, once the multiverse is destroyed and all of the Primus and Ultimus characters are dead, it is only these two children alive, where they're left holding hands to walk off into a new universe, one free of the undead. And that was the last time we saw them in between Black Ops 4 and Cold War. Samantha and Eddie were very good friends. They'd grown up together for some time in Dr. Monty's house. They'd come to know one another, and they were left to walk into a new universe together. We then moved on to Cold War Zombies, which takes place years later in this new universe that they walked into, where they've both grown up. Samantha is an adult, and so is Eddie. But what we aren't told is, in between them entering this universe as children together, and then us seeing them again in Cold War, now that they're grown up. There is obviously a massive time gap between this event where loads of things happened that we don't know about. But one thing that is clear is that these two are no longer the friends they were when they were children. And how do we know this? Because Eddie, or Richtofen, ends up torturing Samantha. Now, there are a couple of things I want to talk about before I show you these radios of him torturing her. The first thing being that between the events of the end of BO4 when they entered this universe as friends as children to this point in Cold War, the two obviously got separated. We don't know how, we don't know what happened, but Samantha is suffering from memory loss. She can't seem to remember anything from her childhood, including Eddie. Yet Eddie, as you'll hear in just a second, can remember. He clearly still knows who Samantha is because he knows where she's from, he knows her date of birth, yet Samantha doesn't. And why this is so interesting is because, well, they were friends as children. Yet now that they're grown up in Cold War, Eddie is torturing Samantha. And what's even worse is, this version of Eddie was supposed to be good. Like I explained earlier, his soul from Dimension 2210 came from an innocent young version of him, one that hadn't witnessed evil. He was a good kid. Yet now that he's grown up, he's torturing his childhood friend, Samantha. Not too far apart now that he's grown up from other versions of Richtofen that we've seen when he's been evil. Now, because the Cold War story is still continuing, we'll find out what's going to happen next in 2024 from Treyarch. So the story is still going on, and for that reason, we don't know everything. We don't know why Richtofen is torturing Samantha. Maybe it is for a good reason. Maybe just like other versions that we've seen of him in the past, he's once again narcissistic, and whatever reason he's doing it for, it's for his own game, for himself. Or maybe it's not. But anyway, getting back to it, Eddie, who is the director of Requiem, has Samantha imprisoned, and he talks to her. But he talks to her behind some glass where she can't see him and uses a voice changer. Why? Maybe so that she doesn't recognise him. Maybe if she sees his face or hears his voice, memories will come flooding back and she'll realise that it is Eddie and then start questioning, wait, why are you doing this to me if we were friends? So Eddie is hiding his identity from Samantha, appearing as the director of Requiem, but this is what happens.
Wake up. Wake up!
Where am I? Where's Natso?
You will answer our questions. Do you understand?
Who the hell are you?
That's not important. What's important is who you are. What is your name?
Fuck you.
Where were you born?
Kiss my ass.
Your name is Samantha Maxis. You were born in Berlin, November 5th. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I don't know. Everything is different now.
Oh, I know that better than you.
Where am I?
You're in Block 8. A facility specifically designed to take care of people like you.
Take care of people like me?
You're here to undergo some specialized tests.
What kind of tests?
You'll find out soon enough. The Dark Aether changed you in many ways. I just need you to know how much.
You don't know anything about me.
Really? I think you're going to be very surprised. Hello, Sam.
Leave me alone.
No. We've got work to do.
Oh, you're going to electrocute me again?
I really hope it doesn't come to that.
What do you want?
I want you to show me some of your powers. Weaver and Gray both saw you do it. Why should I miss out?
What are you talking about?
I want you to move something, using only the power of your mind.
If you'd come down from behind that glass, I'd move something, all right.
I was worried you'd be like this. Why can't we just get along? I promise you, what I'm doing is for your own good.
You're insane.
Maybe. But I know what you're capable of. I just want to see it for myself.
What if I don't want to?
That would force me into the regrettable position of having to use more severe methods.
Is that a threat?
No, not a threat. Just an incentive.
Hello, Mr. Director.
Oh, you heard me come in. You're very perceptive, aren't you? Do you know how long you've been here?
Not counting bathroom breaks and mandatory exercise. 15 days. As of today.
And still no breakthrough?
What kind of breakthrough do you want? Your only goal seems to be trying to make me angry. But I'm not. Just disappointed.
You're probably going to be more disappointed when this session is over. You do know that none of them really care for you. Strauss, Carver, Weaver, even Gray. They've barely inquired as to your current situation.
That's not true. They wouldn't want me to be here. You're just trying to manipulate me. Test my emotional responses.
Like you did with them. Do you even know how much trouble you caused for your Requiem friends? Going behind their backs on your little secret squirrel mission with Ravenov.
I looked Weaver in the eye when I was taken. To be brought here. He didn't want this.
You like him, don't you?
Not in the way you think. We just have history. Shared history. Shared trauma. You wouldn't understand.
I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. I mean, given Weaver's failures and lapses in security, I could easily have had him disappeared.
Don't test me.
Maybe I still should.
I'm warning you!
What on earth could you possibly do to me? You really are just a pathetic, sad, little, lost... Oh dear. I suppose we'll have to replace that glass now. But at least we're making progress. We're going to try something a little different today.
What's going on? What are you doing?
It's your fluffy friend.
She's not fluffy. Her name's not so. Not so fluffy.
Cute. I suppose. I just thought you'd be pleased to see each other.
We are. But I don't suppose you would know how it feels to be loved.
Playtime's over. Guard, you have your orders. Please take aim.
What?
In exactly 30 seconds, by my watch, the guard will pull the trigger.
How dare you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
25.
She's done nothing wrong!
18.
What kind of monster are you?
10.
What do you want from me?
You know what I want. 5.
Ah!
3. 2. 1. Stand down, Sophie. Well done, Samantha. You successfully teleported your dog to safety. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am. Of you.
62 days.
Sorry. I'm not sure what you mean.
That's how long I've been here. 62 days.
Is that including bathroom breaks?
Honestly, fuck you. Sorry. Saying that's just me taking my mandatory exercise.
What a potty mouth you have.
Apologies. What I meant to say was, fuck you!
Can I direct your attention to the monitor? The one on your right.
Elizabeth, she's asleep. Why are you watching her?
Not just Gray. I watch everyone. Bring in the prisoner.
What do you want from me this time? More magic teleporting?
No. Something much more important. This is a captured Omega agent, and I would like to see you kill him, using only the power of your mind.
I won't do it.
Won't or can't. I think the former.
You can't make me.
Take another look at the monitor. Do you see the figure standing very quietly in the corner of her room? The one who's just raised a pistol to Dr. Gray's head.
You're sick!
The way I see it, you have a clear choice. Kill the very, very bad person, or let the very, very good person die. It's simple, really. And please don't make me give you a countdown, because this time I would actually start on 5.
I can't.
Trust me, you can. 4.
I'm so
You may not realize it yet, but trust me, Samantha, today was a very good day.
So clearly, that innocent version of Eddie from Dimension 2210 is no longer innocent. There may be a deeper reason as to why Eddie is torturing his friend. He might be doing it for a good reason, we'll just have to wait and see. But at the moment, that innocent version of Eddie is no longer innocent. From the way he talks, you can tell there's a little bit of that older Richtofen in him. I said at the beginning, even though we've seen good versions of Richtofen throughout the story, such as the Primus one, still deep down there's this little bit of evilness in all of them, and I think with Eddie, that still remains there, even though he was killed as an innocent child, so he never got to go through those events. Just like every other version of him, they all have that evil Richtofen side within them. But maybe he is different. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.